Story number 1, wrong uniform. I was restocking the third-floor medication cart when I glanced at the security monitor by the nurses' station and saw someone in the basement-level restricted storage room. A maintenance worker I'd never seen before. In 2 years of night shifts, you get to know everyone who works these hours. The building's small enough that faces repeat. I watched him move between the locked cabinets with this efficient, purposeful rhythm, no hesitation. Like he knew exactly where everything was. The hospital had just expanded the cardiac wing last month, brought on some new contractors, so I figured he was part of that crew. Still, something about the way he moved bothered me. Too familiar with a space he shouldn't know yet. Protocol says I need to verify credentials for anyone accessing restricted areas during night shifts. It's tedious, but after the opioid audits last year, administration doesn't mess around. I took the stairs down, my sneakers quiet on the concrete steps. The basement hallway hit me with that sharp chemical smell before I even reached the storage area. Industrial cleaner, the kind that burns your nostrils. But underneath it was something else, metallic, copperish. I slowed down, trying to place it. He was standing by the open cabinet when I came around the corner, mid-40s maybe, average height, the kind of face you'd forget in a grocery store. He looked up and smiled, too wide, too immediate. "Evening," he said. "Just fixing the ventilation system down here. Been getting complaints about the air quality." I nodded, keeping my distance. "I'll need to see your ID badge." Sure. He patted his chest pocket, but didn't reach for anything. "Left it in my truck. Been here since midnight. Must have set it down." That's when I noticed his uniform shirt. The logo was wrong. It was from Kelso Industrial, the contractor we'd used for years until they lost the bid last summer. The new company used bright yellow shirts with their name across the back. His was the old navy blue. "Which company are you with?" I kept my voice light. "Oh, we're subcontracted through the new guys. They kept some of us on for continuity." Maybe that was true. I didn't know how these contracts worked, but he had no toolbox, no equipment at all. And the ventilation panel he claimed to be fixing was across the room, untouched. "I should get back upstairs," I said, "just doing rounds. Wait, actually." He stepped toward me. "Since you're here, can you show me where you keep the medication logs? I need to document the cabinet serial numbers for the work order." Medication logs aren't stored in the basement. They're digital, accessed through the nursing station terminals. "They're upstairs," I said. "I can have someone email you the information." I turned and walked back toward the stairwell, not running, just moving with purpose. My badge reader beeped as I swiped to open the stairwell door, but it flashed red. "Access denied." I tried again. Same result. Behind me, his footsteps were getting closer. I headed for the east corridor instead, toward the emergency exit at the far end. The hallway stretched long and fluorescent bright, with that particular 3 a.m. emptiness that makes every sound obvious. His shoes squeaked on the linoleum, not rushing but definitely following. "Hey, I actually had another question," he called out. "About the inventory system. You're the night supervisor, right?" I wasn't. I was just a floor nurse. But he seemed to think I had access to something. "I'm not sure I can help with that," I said over my shoulder. "Come on, just take a minute." His voice was still friendly, but there was an edge now. "Are you the only one down here right now?" That question made my stomach drop. I reached the emergency exit and pushed the bar. It didn't budge. I looked down and saw the chain. Thick industrial chain looped through the interior handle and padlocked. A fire code violation that had never, ever happened in this building. Someone had prepared this. The elevator was 20 feet back, the way I'd come. I changed direction, walking faster now. He matched my pace. "Where are you going?" he asked. Still casual, still smiling probably. I reached the elevator and jabbed the call button. The panel lit up red. Out of service. He was 15 feet away now. His right hand was in his pocket, gripping something that made the fabric bulge. Rectangular. Maybe a phone, maybe not. "Look, I just need to know how the medication tracking works," he said. Whether doses get logged immediately or at end of shift. Simple question. My mind was racing through options. The stairs were compromised. He could trap me there. The emergency exit was chained. The elevator was disabled. The only other staff would be on the second and fourth floors, too far to hear me yell. Then I remembered the fire alarm panel on the wall behind me. I pulled it. The sound was immediate and deafening, that piercing mechanical shriek that overrides everything. Strobe lights started flashing in the corridor. I didn't wait to see his reaction. I ran back past him toward the supply closet near the storage room. The one I knew had a keyed lock from the inside because I'd hidden there once during a particularly bad anxiety attack my first month. I grabbed a scalpel from the crash cart outside the storage area as I passed, not even thinking, just grabbing. Got inside the closet and turned the interior lock, my hands shaking so hard I almost dropped it. I heard him try the handle. Once. Twice. The metal rattled. Then footsteps, fast retreating. Security reached me maybe 90 seconds later. 2 guards, both out of breath. I opened the door and tried to explain, my words coming out jumbled. Man in maintenance uniform. Wrong logo. Chained exit. Following me. They found the chains. They found the elevator panel manually switched off. They checked the security footage and saw him clearly entering through the parking garage service door at 2:47 in the morning, accessing the basement with what looked like a master key. At 4:15 in the morning, they found our actual maintenance worker, Dennis, unconscious in the parking garage stairwell. Head wound. His uniform shirt missing. He came to in the ER with a concussion and no memory of being attacked. The imposter had vanished through the chained emergency exit. The chain unlocked from the outside, left hanging. He'd set up his own escape route. Sheriff's department came, took statements, pulled all the footage. His face was visible but generic, the kind of face that could be anyone. They ran it through databases. Nothing came back. They never figured out who he was, what he wanted, whether he was after medications or something else, whether I was specifically targeted or just in the way. The hospital changed all the locks, installed new badge readers, added a second security guard to night shifts. But nobody ever explained how he got a master key, or how he knew the building layout well enough to disable that specific elevator and chain that specific exit. I still work night shifts, still do my rounds, but I never go to the basement alone anymore, and I check the emergency exits every single time I pass them, just to make sure the chains are off. Story number 2, package scan. I was finishing up a logo revision when my phone buzzed with the delivery notification. The package was supposed to be art supplies I'd ordered 3 days earlier. I glanced at the photo, the app automatically attached as proof of delivery. It showed my couch, my bookshelf, the corner of my kitchen counter. I stared at it for a few seconds, confused. Then I figured the driver must have uploaded the wrong image from his phone somehow. Maybe a photo from his camera roll got selected by mistake. It happens. Technology glitches. I got up and opened my apartment door to grab the package from the hallway. The box was there, sitting against the wall where drivers usually left things, but there were wet footprints on the carpet. Dark, distinct prints coming from the direction of the elevator, stopping at my door, then continuing back toward the stairs at the other end of the hall. It had been raining all afternoon. Portland, in March. Nothing unusual about that. I picked up the box and brought it inside, locking the door behind me. That's when I noticed my cat wasn't around. Normally she comes trotting over when I get back from working at the coffee shop, but the apartment was silent. I found her under my bed, pressed against the wall. She didn't come out when I called her name. I sat down at my desk and opened the delivery app again, looking at that photo. The more I looked at it, the more wrong it seemed. The angle was from inside my apartment, definitely. Someone would have been standing near my kitchen, facing the living room, not at the doorway, not outside in the hall. I got up and checked my door lock. There were scratches around the keyhole, faint but visible when the light hit them right. I run my fingers over the metal every time I lock up, habit from living in the city, and those scratches weren't there this morning before I left. My phone buzzed again. Another delivery notification. A package scheduled to arrive in 20 minutes. Same driver name. I didn't remember ordering anything else. I went to the peephole and waited. My apartment was quiet except for the radiator ticking and the muffled sound of rain against the windows. 15 minutes passed. Then I heard the elevator. Footsteps in the hallway. I looked through the peephole. The driver was young, maybe late 20s, wearing the standard uniform. He was carrying a small box. He walked up to my door and stopped. Then he reached out and tried the doorknob. Once, twice, 3 times, 4 times. He wasn't knocking. He was turning the knob slowly, testing it. Then he set the box down and walked away toward the elevator. I pulled out my phone and started recording through the peephole, then dialed 911. My hands were shaking enough that it took 2 tries to get the number right. The operator answered, and I explained what I'd seen, keeping my voice low. She told me to stay inside and away from the door. Officers were being dispatched. I was still on the line with her when I heard footsteps again. I looked through the peephole. He was back, standing in front of my door. He tried the knob again, slower this time, like he was listening for something inside. The operator heard me describe what was happening and told me to move away from the door and barricade it if possible. I wedged my phone between my shoulder and ear and started pushing my desk toward the door. It scraped loudly against the floor. Through the peephole, I saw him step back, then walk quickly toward the stairs. I shoved the bookshelf against the desk. My cat shot out from under the bed and into the closet. The operator stayed on the line. I sat on the floor with my back against the wall, where I could see both the door and the window. It took the police 11 minutes to arrive. I heard them in the hallway, heard voices, heard someone say, "Hands behind your back." 2 officers knocked and identified themselves. I moved the furniture and opened the door. They took my statement in the hallway while a 3rd officer stood with the driver near the elevator. I showed them the photo from the delivery notification, showed them the scratches on my lock. One of the officers went downstairs and came back 20 minutes later. They'd searched his van, found an SD card in the glove compartment. The officer told me to sit down before he explained what was on it. Interior photos of 47 different apartments. My building and 3 others within a few blocks. All taken from similar angles, near kitchens or just inside living rooms. Timestamps going back 5 weeks. My apartment was photographed 6 times over the past 3 weeks. Different days, different times. Always when I was out. They asked if I'd noticed anything else unusual. Missing items, things moved, anything. I told them I hadn't. I'm not home much during the day. I work at coffee shops most afternoons because my apartment feels too small when I'm staring at a screen for hours. The officer said they'd have someone check my lock and suggested I get it replaced. They'd be in touch about the investigation. After they left, I moved the furniture back and checked every room. Nothing seemed disturbed, nothing missing. My cat eventually came out of the closet and sat in the kitchen doorway watching me. I thought about those 6 photos. 6 times he'd been inside while I was gone. 6 times I'd come home and never known. I keep thinking about the wet footprints, how fresh they'd looked. How I'd just assumed he'd walked up, set the package down and left. The lock gets replaced tomorrow. I've been sleeping with a chair wedged under the doorknob and my phone on the pillow next to me. My cat hasn't left my side since that afternoon. I still don't know what he was planning to do if the door had been unlocked today, if I'd been home, if I'd opened it. The police said they'd call when they knew more. That was 4 days ago. I haven't received any more deliveries. Story number 3. Parking Level C. I landed at DFW just after 11 on a Thursday night. 3 days in Houston deposing witnesses, and I was done. My rolling bag had a broken wheel, my phone was at 6%, and all I wanted was to get to my car and drive the 30 minutes home in silence. Level C of the parking garage was nearly empty. I'd parked in my usual spot near the elevator, third row back, because I always park there, muscle memory. But when I came around the concrete pillar, my silver Lexus wasn't where I'd left it. I stopped and looked around. Then I saw it. 3 spaces over, closer to the wall. I stood there for a second, confused. Then I figured airport security must have moved it. Maybe they were doing concrete work or cleaning. It happens. I didn't see any cones or caution tape, but that didn't mean much. I was tired. I just wanted to go home. I clicked the fob and the lights blinked. The locks opened fine. I threw my bag in the back seat and slid behind the wheel. That's when I noticed the seat position was off, not by much, just enough that my knees were closer to the wheel than usual. I'm 5'7" and I always keep the seat in the same spot. I reached down and adjusted it back, annoyed. Maybe a security guy had sat in it to move it. Whatever. I started the engine. The air inside was stale, and there was a faint smell of cigarette smoke under the thick exhaust fumes that always hang in these garages. I don't smoke, never have. But I told myself maybe it drifted in from another car or clung to someone's uniform. I was putting the car in reverse when I saw him in my peripheral vision, a man walking toward me from the direction of the stairwell. Dark polo shirt, khaki pants, something clipped to his belt. He moved with purpose, directly toward my driver's side window. I stopped and put the car back in park, assuming he was security. He tapped on my window with his knuckle. Not aggressive, just firm. I cracked the window 2 inches. "Evening," he said. "Garage security. Need to verify your parking ticket real quick." He smiled, friendly enough. But something felt off. I couldn't place it at first. "Why?" I asked. "Just routine. We've had some mix-ups tonight with the payment system. Won't take a second." I glanced down at his belt. That's when I saw it. The radio clip there had a little sticker on the side, a cartoon character. Bright yellow. A kid's toy walkie-talkie. My stomach dropped. I looked back up at his face. He was still smiling, but his eyes weren't. They were flat, waiting. "I'm all set," I said. "Thanks." I reached for the window button to close it, and he moved fast. His hand shot toward the door handle. I slammed my palm on the lock button and threw the car into reverse. He yanked the handle twice hard and then grabbed my side mirror as I started rolling backward. The mirror bent but didn't break. He held on for a second, jogging alongside the car, and then let go. I cranked the wheel and accelerated toward the exit ramp. In the rear-view mirror, I saw him running toward a white van parked near the stairwell. No markings, just white. I didn't stop. I drove up the ramp to level D, then E, then F, taking the turns too fast, tires squealing on the slick concrete. My hands were shaking. I kept checking the mirror, expecting to see headlights behind me. When I reached the terminal level, I pulled up to the curb near the elevator and left the car running. I grabbed my briefcase and ran inside, wedging it in the elevator door so it couldn't close, and called 911. The police came in less than 10 minutes. 2 officers. I told them everything. They went down to level C with me, and the white van was gone. But when one of them crouched down near my rear bumper, he stood up holding a small black box the size of a deck of cards. Magnetic. GPS tracker. "You're the 4th one this month," he said. "4th what?" "4th woman. All attorneys. All traveling for work. Someone's been cloning parking tickets and programming duplicate keys while you're gone. They move the car a few spaces so you don't notice right away. Then they wait." The other officer was looking at my door handle with a flashlight. No scratches. They used a key. I felt cold. I thought about the cigarette smell. Someone had been inside my car, sitting in my seat, waiting for me to come back, or testing the key, or doing God knows what. They took the tracker as evidence. They checked the garage cameras, but the one covering level C had been spray painted over 2 days earlier. Maintenance hadn't replaced it yet. I gave them a description of the man. Dark polo, khaki pants, maybe 40, average height, brown hair, the kind of face you'd forget 5 minutes later. They told me to get my locks rekeyed, to vary my parking spots, to never park alone in a garage late at night if I could help it. I drove home that night with my doors locked and my phone in my lap, checking the mirror every 10 seconds. I didn't see anyone following me, but that didn't mean much. The police never caught him. They never found the white van. A detective called me once 2 weeks later to say they were still investigating, but after that, nothing. I had my car completely checked, no other devices. New locks, new key fobs. I sold it 4 months later anyway. I couldn't sit in it without smelling cigarette smoke, even though the detail shop swore it was gone. I don't park in garages anymore if I'm traveling alone. I take a cab. It costs more, and I know it's not rational, but I do it anyway. Because I keep thinking about how he knew. He knew what kind of car I drove. He knew I'd be gone for 3 days. He knew where I parked. And I keep thinking about the fact that he moved my car just 3 spaces. Close enough that I'd see it. Close enough that I wouldn't panic. Close enough that I'd get in.